Okay, so now I want to touch on daily average sales. Again, the same data set, but what you're going to note now is that we have numbers up here, the days in the month. Now, you and I both know that there are not only 22 days in January. Okay? In fact, how could there be 22 days in January and February is only 24? We know for a fact there's only 28 days in February. So, how can these numbers be such? Reason for that is we refer to this as business days open. Okay? So, the business days. This does not include Saturday and Sunday or holidays. Okay? So we have a few more holidays in different months. So we might only have 21 days open or something like that, or 20 open there, like Labor Day and such. So, and then Christmas, of course, over here. So these are days open. If you want to just write that down, if that helps you understand this material. But it's business days open for this business that we're studying. Now, how do you know if your company is open 23 days instead in 25? You would have to know that with the company you're working for. So I'm telling you here that our business is open these number of days each month. Now, the reason this is going to be important is because if we're going to compare February's performance to January's, or March to January, which is off by just $6,000. Is it fair that March had one more selling day? Our store was open one extra day compared to January. Is that fair to say January is a better month than January? We're going to find out. So here's what we do. We're going to take this set of data, just bring it down, okay? And we're going to do this. We're going to take $57,000 divided by 22. So what that means is on average, in other words, daily average, on average each day that we're open in January, our business is selling $2,591 worth of product. Now if I drag this down, it's going to give me a crazy number because I need to absolute cell reference this. I need to absolute cell reference the row over here. I'm going to want to move it to the right, so I'm only going to put a dollar sign up in between the B and the 2. I'm not going to put it before that because eventually this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to drag this over, right? And bring these headers over. And basically my daily average sales are this way, okay? So it's a nice neutralizing effect on your numbers to say whether one day is better than the other out there. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to, because we already referenced number 2 as an absolute, we can now drag this thing down and just drag it all the way across. So very simple to do this. The importance is understanding why we might do this. Again, it could be because of our selling days. One month has a lot more selling days. So is that really a fair way to assess our performance? Okay, so if you just clean this up with a little bit of data ink, and such. Now we're apples to apples, and we can do our heat maps that we just covered. We can look at different numbers. We can do percent changes, right? So let's just go ahead and do that over here. This is going to be a little messy for us, but we're going to grab, just for simplicity, let's bring this over here. Now we're going to get rid of these numbers here, okay? But we can't do January because we don't have a December figure, so just put an X in there. But we can do February. So equals new minus the old. So be very careful with this. We've got a lot of numbers flying around our screen now, divided by the old. So if you were in microeconomics with me, we practice this a lot for price elasticity and different things like that. In accounting, you know this formula. In finance, you should have this formula. New minus old divided by old. So what this is saying when we format it properly is that, and I'll zoom in a little bit here for us, that we had a 33% sales loss in February compared to January. Okay, great. Awesome. We can drag, beauty of this formula now is we can drag this across, drag it all the way down, and now we have our numbers. Okay? Now, let's do the same thing, but for the daily average sales figures. Okay, so we're just going to get rid of these numbers here, just clean it up a little bit. Again, the power of video is you can rewind if I'm moving too fast for you. But we're going to do the same calculation, this time on daily average sales. New minus old, divided by old. Make sure you get those parentheses in there. Okay, so do not forget your parentheses. And now, look at this. If we do standard calculation, we get a 33% drop in sales for tea. But if we do daily average sales, it's worse. Basically, what that means is February is a little bit better simply because it has 2 selling days. But we neutralized that by dividing that out to get our daily average sales, thus showing all this. So we're going to drag it across and down. Okay? Now here's the beautiful thing. Okay, I want you to see this. September. Look at this. This is fantastic. There's a couple others. But look at September, August, but September more specifically. I'm just going to highlight these things. If we do not do the daily average sales calculation, it shows that we have a negative 1% sales loss. But if we do daily average, it shows we have a 19% sales growth. Because look at this. September only had 20 selling days, but August had 24. So that means this $243,000 was gained because they had 4 more selling days, whereas September had 4 less, and it generally kept up with the same amount of volume of sales. So that is why we do daily average sales, to analyze performance and isolate or neutralize the effect that extra selling days might have on a product. Now there's going to be other examples in here. So this is where you might want to do your data ink ratio, and you do a heat map, where you do the heat maps on this one and then compare. Like, is this one red still, or is this one red and this one's not red anymore? I mean, look at this. You can see some significant sales differences here as well. They're not all good. They're not all good. Like down here, it's negative 16% instead of negative 12. But you do have some over here where they're positive, where they were negative up here, right? Or they were 8% and now they're 24% sales growth. So in business, you do want to carefully look at your data like this and set up new ways to think about it. Okay? So that is daily average sales growth. Go ahead, complete the file, and upload it for your assignment.